you ever wondered why so many dentist offices have aquariums in the sitting room? Well, it's not just because the staff likes fish, although maybe they do. Really, it's for the patients. It helps to calm them. And why is that? Find out more about what aquariums, dentists, and soft fascination have in common. Please stay tuned. Greetings, gentle viewers. In this video, I'm going to talk about soft fascination and how it can help you to recover some attention span once you're really fatigued and you just can't concentrate anymore. You're making tons of mistakes and you're growing really irritable. The first couple of posts, I talked about attention restoration theory and that it has 4 parts. And I explained a sense of being away in the last one. And for this one, I'm going to talk about my favorite of all 4, which is soft fascination. So to review, attention restoration theory has 4 major components: a sense of being away, soft fascination, extent, and compatibility. And my research in doctoral school and then later on what I taught as a professor had a lot to do with the soft fascination with animals and the restorative benefits of that. And in this video, whether there's animals in it or not, I'm going to go over 5 easy ways that soft fascination can help with strained attention so that you can regain focus, regain a good mood, and regain all of your cognitive abilities and put them towards the project that matters to you at the most at the time. There's many ways that directed attention can become fatigued and really put you at a disadvantage, whether it's in an office setting, at home, or just out and about with family. So stay tuned for those 5 tips. Point number 1 for using attention restoration to help you out when you're fatigued and can't function well any longer. Correct content in your environment that you're going to be immersing yourself in is super important. To achieve a sense of soft fascination that lets directed attention rest and allows involuntary attention to take over, you need access to a natural scene with a certain amount of complexity. Remember, voluntary attention is just like a muscle that gets depleted after extended use and can't function without rest. Soft fascination with nature is the fastest way to rest that brain muscle. While there are many visual aspects of nature that are relaxing and softly fascinating, there is a sweet spot that we can use deliberately to manage our attention. Areas or scenes with greenery, spaced at perfect distances apart and without too much understory, are great. Hard for me to say, orderly gardens are good too. The secret is plenty of curvilinear objects. Urban spaces with sharp, straight edges have been shown in experiments to make no difference in restoring attention, while treed landscapes, even if they aren't extremely wild, have a positive impact. Nature has few straight edges, and since we evolved to expect that, our brains find this normal, natural, and comforting. But be warned, super congested natural spaces with little visual scope within can raise fears and blow that relaxation effect. Tight, dark forest all around us makes us uncomfortable. Prospect and refuge theory has a lot of insights about why this is. We need prospect, or the ability to see around us, to identify and avoid oncoming threats. And it's important. So that's why those trees shouldn't be too close together. Light needs to be able to penetrate, and the observer needs to be able to see inside and under the tree canopy for several yards. Impenetrable jungle is fascinating, but not great for attention restoration. Really open spaces with just the right number of trees dotted around are also very restorative. Savanna theory, yes, yet another theory, suggests that humans are a savanna-adapted species. It's probably why we like lawns so much. So when a woodland path is not handy, a park with a lawn and a few trees here and there can be helpful. I love farmers' fields with animals grazing. I find it instantly refreshing, and my breathing changes and deepens within moments. So for visual content, the right amount of green combined with open space, lots of curvy features, such as rocks and trees and shrubs and curving paths, is the sweet spot when it comes to beginning of soft fascination. Also, to go along with complexity in the environment, a certain level of personal arousal is necessary. Okay, you guys, not that kind of arousal. Get your minds out of the gutter. I mean a physiological fight or flight response. Objects or images that represent something sketchy that may occur or may happen can kick the observer out of soft fascination and into hard fascination. Hard fascination is also involuntary and isn't particularly harmful. In fact, it's a necessary response to the world around us to keep us safe. But it precludes attention restoration, at least until the stimulus is dissipated. For instance, while performing some leisurely gardening tasks that were very restorative, a streaking Cooper's hawk, a kind of local raptor, came bombing across the garden in search of feral chickens. I immediately stood up to watch, utterly captivated by its speed, agility, and raw beauty. A gardening companion had the same reaction and behaved the same way, freezing and watching until the bird had been out of sight for several seconds. Feeling privileged to witness nature's fierce beauty, I also realized that I had become slightly tense. My heart was racing a little, my breathing was short and shallow. Although the bird had not scared me, its presence had kicked me out of soft fascination and into involuntary hard fascination and elevated my arousal level. It took a few moments to slip back into that mindful but relaxed gardening state. I can get pretty wrapped up in gardening activities, and I find those tasks interesting and rewarding. They become attention restorative, and after 30 minutes, I go back to the computer with a fresh perspective and greater focus. But if for some reason I found gardening burdensome or boring, my arousal level would be too low and attention restoration would be unlikely. So, when it comes to arousal, there is a Goldilocks space that is just right. It takes practice to analyze your own response to certain natural environments and find a space that maintains your interest in a soothing but not boring way. Like landscape content complexity, quantity and quality both matter. And now, before I move on to the other 3 points, a brief word from our sponsor, which is me. If you feel you've benefited from this post today and would like more information all in one handy place, grab a copy of my book, Renaturing, on Amazon. Get one today. I mentioned earlier the immediate grabbing of attention caused by the hawk. It was its movement that captured me before I was able to identify its purpose or species. For soft fascination to be sustained, a little movement is needed. It doesn't have to be animal-based, although that is often very good. The movement of water or trees in a gentle breeze can be the perfect frosting on the soft fascination cake. Water features such as streams or even man-made fountains can be especially helpful. Certain natural elements such as water features or campfires embody what is called Heraclidean motion. That means a natural event that is always changing, yet always the same. The flowing water follows gravity with a predictable sameness, but a shift in the wind or the behavior of objects within the stream ensure that the water behaves somewhat differently from one microsecond to the next. We evolved to find this fascinating and appealing in the extreme, since the presence of water guarantees our continuing existence. Birds hopping or squirrels racing around tree trunks are also perfect forms of motion for attention restoration. A pet's antics can be helpful as long as they do not require any intervention on your part, which puts you back into directed attention mode. Experimentation is key here, as walking the dog may or may not be restorative, depending upon environmental conditions and the behavior of the dog. Dog walking can be great for getting exercise or social interactions with other dog walkers, but only you will be able to determine whether over time you feel restored or not. If you have a choice of color scheme to immerse yourself in, choose green. Next in line would be blue. Overly red environments increase arousal and even make us sweat just a tiny bit, so color matters. Red often symbolizes passion and energy, while blue is associated with calm and trust. These associations are not arbitrary, but stem from a combination of biological, psychological, and cultural factors. Blue is strongly associated with reduction of physiological arousal, which is important, but green is more effective for attention transformation. Greenscapes improve focus, working memory, cognitive flexibility, that is, cognitive flexibility, and eventually performance on tasks requiring sustained attention. So while a walk along the beach is awesome, for maximum effect, try to spend time in both environments when possible. Point number 5, and the final point in this post, although there are other considerations for seeking attention restoration and even seeking places that are rich with soft fascination. Number 5 are the senses. When we are under deadline pressure of some kind, we can't always make the time to get away completely. Access and time constraints can be a reality that works against us. When that happens, sometimes we can manage what's called a Pomodoro type of break. Classic Pomodoro is like you work 50 minutes and then you take 5 minutes off and then you go back and work another 50 minutes. It works well for some people, I guess. It just doesn't work for me. My Pomodoro is to work for an hour and a half and then take a half an hour off and be able to get away from my computer completely and spend time in nature. But moving right along, when we can't truly get outside and into nature, the restoration process is accelerated through the engagement of all senses. Sound is particularly important. Pleasing, natural sounds are immediately and deeply restorative, while urban sounds are just the opposite and may further deplete voluntary attention as we try to unpack the threat level offered by shouts, sirens, and traffic noise. Secondly, sense of smell is our deepest sense. It develops first in the human embryo and remains potent throughout life, even though we humans tend to disregard it for the most part. But even a gorgeous garden with pleasant water features splashing tunefully and birds singing cannot compete with sense of smell if the garden is next door to a sewage plant or a commercial pig farm. I remember when enjoying horseback rides as a kid on a country road and getting into the zone. That was what I called it back then, before the research on attention restoration had been done, and there were no words for it, so I just called it the zone. Anyways, of needing to gallop past the local pig farm in order to keep from gagging. So smell matters. This childhood memory may be why my pig pens were always so clean and fresh that you could hang out inside them comfortably for a piglet cuddling moment. Yeah, that's something every zookeeper knows, is how smell affects visitor enjoyment, and they take sanitary steps accordingly. So when choosing your restorative landscape to decompress in, take all senses into consideration. If you've enjoyed this particular post and you have some thoughts on what gives you a restorative moment or a sense of being away or soft fascination, please leave a comment in the comments section, and that will give me some ideas for future posts. Thanks. Take care and be restored.